turn to hate, and the hate starts to change the world.
Hello everyone, welcome to Kill the Cast. My name is Jerry, and as always, I am joined by the ever-quotable Jay.
Evil wakes in vengeance. Be careful what you choose.
I chose soy sauce? Is that an option? I don't know.
Well, when you put it on rice, yeah, it's good.
Okay.
It's a good option.
And the Silent Hill biker himself, Kenneth.
Soy sauce is salty.
I've got something else salty for you. And speaking of salty things, we have a special guest with us joining us, and that would be Reese.
Hi, everyone.
Yay, Reese.
Yay! And today, we are going to be tackling Silent Hill from 2006. But before we get into that, Jay, how you been?
I've been pretty good, actually. Work has calmed down. We're training new people, so that makes me happy.
I am glad to hear that. Kenneth, what you been up to?
Well, I shot my bow today enough to where I can almost not lift my arm from shooting it so many times. And I put together my first arrow, which I'm really, really proud of. And then I did another one not too long after that. So, yeah.
Question. Was it your jack-off arm?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was my
smart man.
It was my bow arm, which is my left arm, the one you hold the bow with, my shoulder up on the top from having to push against it so many times.
Follow-up question.
Yes.
Do your arrows have explosive arrowheads, Rambo style?
No, they do not, but you can
disappointed.
purchase those.
Wink, wink.
Are you Hawkeye?
No. I sent y'all a picture of what my target looked like. Does that look like Hawkeye target?
It depends. Were you aiming for those spots?
No. I was trying to hit the center.
Oh,
okay. Fair enough.
Oh yeah, I'm 3 months in, and I'm doing a lot better than I did. If y'all saw that, and if you can imagine that being better than when I started.
Hooray! You've got it in the circle. The person would surely be dead.
Exactly. That's what I'm going for.
All right, then. And Reese, what have you been up to?
Oh, I've been just working and not firing arrows and being exciting. I've been going bar hopping and drinking the past 3 days.
Yay,
exciting.
Fair enough. I have not been drinking the past 3 days. But I do have some announcements. I am no longer on the Married with Children podcast. So I'll be putting even more time into Kill the Cast now. And Kill the Cast.
You didn't before.
Yeah, as if I didn't before. Now I have even more time to make you motherfuckers do shit.
Fuck that shit. Now my job just got even easier, as if I did a whole lot to begin with.
Fair enough. Other than that, so some people might have noticed Horrorphilia went down. There was some issues with the servers, and I don't know how much I'm going to say, but I will say this. Kill the Cast will be on its own feed from Podbean again, and hopefully we will not lose our iTunes. Jason from Horrorphilia says he should be able to help us with that. So keep an eye out on that. We'll give you more information as it happens, unless you're listening to this like 6 months from now, and then none of that matters.
Yeah.
And other than that, have I been doing anything? I do not think I've been doing anything. I watched a bunch of Dario Argento Giallo films. So there's that.
Yay.
I finally got around to watching Justice League.
I'm gonna watch that this week. My stepdad bought a digital code for it, or bought the Blu-ray and gave me the digital code.
Oh, I could have gave you the digital code. I didn't even think about it.
Oh yeah.
God damn it! I rented that.
Fuck. You guys got to ask me on Tuesday. Just message me and say, "What'd you buy today, Jay?"
Did you buy 3 billboards by any chance? I need the digital code.
No,
for that.
I need to buy that though.
I did on the
totally.
digital.
I really want to know whenever y'all got it, because I really want to watch it.
Yeah,
That's
I bought Shape of Water today, so I'll have the digital code for that up here shortly.
I don't know if I'm interested in fish sex.
Sweet.
What?
You don't see any fish sex, apparently.
That makes me upset.
There
I
was
agree
some
with
guy on
Jay. I want to
Amazon.
see fish sex.
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
some
I
guy
saw
on
that. You
Amazon
don't
who
even
was
see his
super pissed
dick.
about it.
So
So
yeah, you
I
put it
like
on
Del
there.
Toro. I just don't know if an Abe Sapien standalone film is entertaining.
I think it's going to be a really good one-time watch, where you look at it and go, oh man, it's so beautiful and so artful. But I don't think you're going to be, watching it once a year.
That's how I feel about the Revenge trilogy.
What are you talking about? The Old Boy trilogy?
Oh yeah, the Vengeance.
Yeah, the Vengeance trilogy.
Yeah.
I can watch Old Boy.
Old Boy is the only one out of those three that I can watch over and over
I
again.
actually have not seen Sympathy for Mrs. Vengeance, and Reese gives me shit about it all the time. Lady Vengeance.
It's amazing.
Yeah, well, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance was mediocre.
Oh,
You want something to really piss you off, Reese? The only movie that I know what they're talking about is Old Boy.
oh, I'm so disappointed in you.
Hey, that's what phones are for. You send me links or what the names of these things are, and I will watch them.
Tisk, tisk, tisk. All right, well, I don't think we have any other house cleaning to get to. So, with that said, I guess we're getting straight into the movie this time.
Yeah, we got to figure out another way to do a fight thing.
Yeah, we'll have more fighting. I'll punch Jay in the face.
Can I
That's
fight
not
with barbed
nice.
wire?
Oh, all right, Alyssa.
Only if it's wrapped around your
Vagina?
hands that are also
Yeah.
wrapped in fight tape and your Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Deal.
Is that all she's gonna be wearing?
Goddamn.
Just barbed wire.
Just barbed wire.
Oh my God, that'd be
sounds
so fucking hot.
So painful. What are you,
No,
Pamela
we can
Anderson?
get like stage barbed wire. No, we're talking about the actual.
I was talking about the actual barbed wire too. It's Pamela Anderson. What do you mean? What do you?
I don't.
All right, well, let's get into
I'm tired.
Silent Hill from 2006, based off the Konami video game franchise.
Yeah, one of the best Konami video game franchises next to Metal Gear Solid.
Completely agree.
Timeout. First of all, the greatest Konami series of all time is Castlevania. Okay.
I said one of the greatest.
Yeah, you said next to fucking Metal Gear.
Yep. So
Dude, don't get me
that
wrong,
still
I
leaves
love
a room for
Castlevania.
Castlevania.
Don't get me wrong, I love Castlevania, but Silent Hill takes the cake.
No, Metal Gear loses, and Castlevania is the best. Period.
Or how about that DDR?
Yeah.
You know what? God damn it, you're off the show. You're kicked off. Oh, Jesus. So, anyway, now, I know the least about Silent Hill out of all four of us. So, I'm mostly going to be asking y'all questions for y'all to inform me. But, first, I got to take it to the biggest Silent Hill fan I know. My cat. No? Oh, never mind. He's just licking his balls.
Oh, you're so dumb.
Kenneth, tell
What?
us why you love Silent Hill, not just the movie, but the video games all up. Explain your love for this.
It's the biggest thing above all anything else is the fucking atmosphere, man. I mean, the atmosphere of these games is fucking amazing. And the movie captured it so well that's the reason why I like the movie so much.
Mm-hmm.
But the atmosphere is the greatest thing. I mean, it's got that scary but unnerving atmosphere. It's not like Resident Evil, where in Resident Evil, you got it's slow. The first Resident Evil game, it's kind of slow and it moves along and it's quiet. Yeah, but it doesn't have the eerie feeling that Silent Hill has. Silent Hill has that very eerie, unnerving, makes you feel weird under your skin because of where you are kind of thing. And that's the reason why I like it so much. It's one of those things where I genuinely feel not just frightened when I play the games, but unusual. Like, it'd be like being in one of those situations where you're out walking somewhere and you're like in an inner city or something like that, and you can feel that you're being watched. That kind of eeriness. That is what Silent Hill does for me.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the reason why I like it so much.
Okay, fair enough. Now, did you play the games as they had came out, or did you play them later in life, or?
The first time that I played the first game was when I was when it came out, and a friend of mine had suggested it to me. And I played it the first time, and I didn't, because of where I was in my life, I didn't have the mindset that I needed for the game. So I'll be 100% honest, I kind of put it to the wayside. I was like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, at that time period, I was all into metal and doing drugs and, fucking anything that could walk. So I really didn't get hardcore into it. And then later on, when I had some terrible shit going on in my life, it really appealed to me a lot more then, because I attributed it's almost like taking what's going on in your life and putting it in full motion into something that you can see visualized in front of you. And that's the reason why I kind of grasped a hold of it when I played it later on. And then after that, other 2 and 3 I think were out at the time, and I ran through all 3 of them.
All right, fair enough. Jay, what's your story with Silent Hill?
So the first one that I actually sat down and played was the third one, which is a direct sequel to the first one. I had seen somebody play some of the first one. I'd seen someone play some of the second one, but I wasn't crazy into like survival horror puzzle games at the time when they were originally released. And I didn't have a PlayStation 1 when it was the height of its popularity either. So I just didn't get into those games then. But after playing the third one, I went back and found the other ones and played them. So yeah, and pretty much I'm just going to end up echoing everything that Kenneth said as far as what you like about them, because they had way more tension and way more creepier of an atmosphere than the Resident Evil games did for me. And so they stood out in that way. And the creature design was better, in my opinion.
Gotcha. All right, Reese, what's your story?
I actually made it to the games later as a kid because I wasn't allowed to play it. Because all you have to hear about is a horror game. My parents were trying to be, no, you can't be experiencing that. But once I found out my friend across the street had it, I was over there playing it, and I fell in love. I just fell in love with the whole atmosphere, the elements, the whole genre of it. It was a great experience to see that people made games like this with the surviving and then the horror and the monsters, and it wasn't just your average scavenge a certain plot and save somebody. Like, it wasn't just your typical, it wasn't like a Zelda game. It was different. There was a feeling to it.
That must be the atmosphere that Kenneth was talking about.
I mean, it's pretty much the same thing that Kenneth was saying. Like, exactly.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to describe it. I mean, there are certain things in any entertainment, whether it be, video games or movies or books or anything like that. there's always that certain one that every person that's into these into these forms of entertainment latches on to for whatever reason that they have to relate to it. You know what I'm saying? And even as extreme as Silent Hill is in its moments, you still can find that relation if you look at the underlining story of all of it. Like Pyramid Head or Red Pyramid, he's a manifestation of guilt for the character in the second one, and that's what he is, and so that's just one example. If you look into it even further, each one of these things that is going on to these people, even though 1 and 3 are directly linked to each other, is they have their own underlining messages going on, and there's a very deep emotional connection with these characters and why they are in this area, why they are in Silent Hill. And to me, that's, I don't know, it's hard to describe. I just related to it so much, and it's almost like that time period in life where you got something bad going on and you find a certain band. Jerry, you know about this, and me, where you find a certain band that you can latch on to. Silent Hill did that for me too, where I could just latch on to it.
Gotcha. See, like, because I've never played the games. The most I've really done is watched I've watched history videos on Silent Hill, whether it was the Game Trailers did a small history video on it. Stop Skeleton from Fighting has done multiple videos. They've done like super in-depth videos on Silent Hill 2. And so I've watched them, and I love, to me, I love the creepy atmosphere, but I couldn't play those kind of games because I'd probably just really suck at them and just run around in circles and not know what the fuck to do.
So what's kind of cool is
me.
A lot of them have different difficulty levels for the monsters and the puzzles. You can make the puzzles harder if you're better at that, and the monsters weaker if you're worse at that, or vice versa. It's kind of cool.
I feel like Silent Hill is I'm not into Let's Plays, but I feel like if I was going to do a Let's Play, it would be something like watching someone play Silent Hill.
Well, see, the cool thing about it is you were saying that you'd suck at it, and I don't think so, because when it really gets down, when you find the path that you need to go on, it starts getting more and more linear to where you got to go. The more difficult part is the puzzles themselves. Once you figure out where, okay, I need to go from where you're down by Toluca Lake, and then you go from down by Toluca Lake, and then you go to the school, and then you go to the hospital, and so on and so forth. Once you find that basic, basic outline for the different missions, quote unquote, that you have to go to, because they're not really missions, but once you go to the different places, it gets pretty linear at that point. It's just, following the maps and doing the puzzles the way that they need to be done. So I honestly think that you would do decent with it if you could keep your head wrapped around what you're doing, because sometimes, depending on what it is, you have a hard time keeping your focus on certain things. So if you could keep your focus on it, I think you'd really, really enjoy it.
Maybe one of these days, if they put out a good port of it, because I know that Silent Hill HD collection that came out got tons of shitty reviews.
I didn't mind it.
It's garbage.
I didn't mind it.
There's so many bugs, and they're not even fixing them. They just were like, "Are bad," and that's kind of it.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, and now the only thing you get from Silent Hill is pachinko machines.
Fucking Konami, man.
Well, luckily for me, I'm only missing one. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, Downpour,
Homecoming.
I've got Homecoming, Origins, the one for PS Vita, which I think is Book of Revelations, I think.
Book of Shadows or something.
Book of Shadows, yeah.
Oh yeah, Blair Witch 2. I've seen that.
And then I've got the HD collection. So if I want to play it without bugs, I'll just hook up the PS2.
And what's the one you're missing?
I'm missing
Shattered Memories. It sounds like
Shattered Memories.
That's the one I missed.
Isn't that the one you have, Reese?
I do have that.
Yep, and I've been trying to get Reese to come off with it, and she won't.
You got to find something that she wants more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she already.
Have.
You've already got him. I think Jerry's a fair trade.
Whoa! I'm not. You can't
You're
use
meat
me
now.
as the bartering tool.
Oh yes, we can.
And I've got the first game. I've got the first game downloaded on my PS3. So
I don't think I should be used that way personally. But all right, so now everyone kind of has a good understanding of our background into Silent Hill. Let's get into the movie. So now, from what I understand, this movie is kind of a mixture of Silent Hill 1 and 2, taking different elements and combining them.
And Kenneth, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but only in the sense that Pyramid Head is a monster strictly from 2, but the story is pretty much beat for beat the first game.
Oh, okay. Is that true, Kenneth? You back this up?
I missed part of that. It broke up a little bit. That's the reason why I was waiting. Say it again.
Oh, so I said that Jerry said that it's a mix of the first and second games, and I said only in the way that Pyramid Head is a monster from 2, but the movie story is pretty much beat for beat the first game.
Yes, actually, yes. I don't think there's any. Were the nurses in the first one? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
I can't remember now.
I don't think they were. I don't think the nurses were in the first game either.
Oh, okay. Well,
but Pyramid Head definitely was not in the first one.
So if his name's Red Pyramid,
the nurses are from the third game.
I could swore they were in the second one too, but I'm not sure. Either way, what were you saying, Jerry?
So why did if Pyramid Head is named Red Pyramid, when did people start calling him Pyramid Head?
I think it's just a nickname that just kind of
like how
the nurses did debut in the first Silent Hill. I apologize.
Did they?
Well, all right.
No, I think the reason why he's called Pyramid Head is because his name is never, if I'm not mistaken, never clearly stated in the second game.
Mm-mm.
So people just automatically are just like, oh, it's Pyramid Head. And then when you actually do research and look him up, and then I think it's in the comic books too, he's called Red Pyramid.
Yeah. All right, so Silent Hill came out 2006 by director Christopher Gaines. He was actually a very huge fan of Silent Hill and was trying to get the movie rights from Konami for 5 years. And finally he sent a video of himself talking about how much he loves the Silent Hill games, how much they mean to him and all that, and that finally won Konami over to give him the rights to make the film. And it's mostly filmed in Canada, in case you're wondering where they filmed at. It's Canada.
Good old Canada.
Now, one of the most interesting things to me is I read that originally this movie had, like, very little male characters. Like, Sean Bean was really only in the very beginning and the very end. But all the stuff with him running around with the cop was not in the script. And then the studio was like, you need more men in here. What are you doing?
I mean, what for?
And so they extended that. And I love Sean Bean, but he is pretty much useless in this whole fucking movie.
Yeah, if you're not going to kill him, don't cast him. I mean, what are you doing?
That's true.
I think, the only thing that he really facilitated was the backstory on the town. You know, but other than that, it was really a waste of time.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess it was good because the backstory you get from him talking to the cop was good.
Right.
But I still think I still think they could have done all of that inside the story without having to do the outside form of it. Because I kind of hate being taken back out of Silent Hill when I'm in Silent Hill.
I agree. But also, I mean, I think that's probably one of the only missteps is because it kind of throws you off. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole thing is supposed to be focused around, you know, the mom and the little girl, because they're changing the character point from the game to from a guy to a girl, from a man to a woman. So I think it kind of throws it off, because then you've got almost like a dichotomy of both characters, you know, almost like where they're taking the parental element and putting the man and the woman both. And I just didn't like that. I mean, it's like either you're going to go one way or you're going to go the other way. Either you're going to stick with the source material and have, you know, a dude looking for his daughter, or you're going to change it a little bit and have a mom looking for the daughter. Don't have them both.
I agree. Because I mean, there's a lot of like weird things in the movie. Like, to me, the movie takes a little bit to really get going. Like, the beginning of the movie kind of annoys me because I'm just like, but I think it's just because I want to get into Silent Hill. That's where the movie gets good, getting in Silent Hill, and you have to sit through that setup. But the whole time I'm just like, I don't care. Just get into fucking Silent Hill.
Yeah, but see, the thing about
Right.
it is, but the games are kind of like that too. You know, like Silent Hill 2 pretty much just picks up, you know, right outside of Silent Hill when it gets there. But the first one kind of starts off that way, where you got the beginning opening, and then it tells the little bit of the story, and then you've got him and her going up the side of the mountain, you know, where the dad's going up there, and then they get stuck. So you've got that in the game too. That's the reason why I say that this movie is the best transfer from video game to movie ever made.
Unfortunately, Postal takes that one, but that's just my opinion.
Which
Well,
one?
good thing we don't care about your opinion.
Yeah, it's true. Postal.
I've never watched it.
Oh
So
god,
I
it's
can't-
so. It's just so. First of all, it's an Uwe Boll movie, so we'll start there.
Okay, first of all, no, you can't say
yes.
no. This movie
Yes,
is the best,
listen.
and then have Uwe Boll
Yes.
in the fucking sentence.
It's a comedy, which is good because Postal is a funny game, and he literally set out to just offend every single demographic he could, and it's absolutely hilarious.
Is that the same dude that did Alone in the Dark?
Yeah, and Blood Rain and
Yep.
fucking every other fucking terrible movie.
Yeah,
he's
but Postal
a
is fantastic.
fucking-
He even makes fun of himself.
Well,
Yeah, I was
that's
just
good
fix-
because
I
he's
was
a
just gonna
fucking
say
joke.
that dude just needs to fucking stop making goddamn video game movies all the way around.
Like
No, Germany keeps letting him. Germany's like, here's more fucking
he
money, and I'm
retired
like,
from directing. Remember?
and thank fucking God, because Germany was about to fucking Germany supporting him is probably the second worst thing they've ever done.
the second.
His Rampage movies aren't bad.
Well, I mean, man, it was just I think Blood Rain is the one that really did it for me, because I didn't mind Alone in the Dark too much, but damn, Blood Rain, I love that fucking game. And when I saw the movie, I was like, "Oh my god, really?"
Yeah, it was pretty garbage.
It was terrible.
Anyway, this movie starts off with Rose chasing her daughter Alyssa
Yeah,
as
some
she
nice
sleepwalks
booty
because
shorts.
you got some baby blue booty attire.
Her name's
Yeah,
actually
a little bit
Sharon.
more than what we saw you in Pitch Black.
What? No, in the movie her name is Rose.
No, Rose is the mom. Sharon's the daughter.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I was talking about fucking yeah. That's why I said
And
Rose
of
was chasing
Sharon
her
is
daughter.
The Kill Switch Engage
Alyssa.
song.
Oh, did I say Alyssa? Alyssa's the dark one.
Yeah.
The dark ones.
The original daughter.
So okay, yeah. So Sharon, Alyssa, really, and I'm sorry, innocent Alyssa, sleepwalks and screams about Silent Hill, and her mom's like, "This shit's been going on for too long. We got to put a stop to this." And Sean Bean's like, "No, one does not simply just cure this." And we're
we
like,
need a doctor. She's like, no, we need a road trip. with
Yeah.
some munchies.
for real. And so that's what she does. I do want to say when Sean Bean and Rose have Sharon on the ground, I love that there's this big red shiny cross in the background. Just lights going off. I thought that was funny considering the very, very deep religious people we're about to get into. It was kind of foreshadowing that above them.
Yeah, well, it ain't doing them people in Silent Hill any good whatsoever.
It does if people are innocent and follow the rules that one bitch said. Because the only people that die are people who are outside of the church. Fucking everyone who
That's
stays
because their
in
blind faith keeps her power from being there.
I know, exactly. That's why Kenneth was saying it does them no good. It's doing them plenty good because they were surviving up until fucking homegirl from the outside had to come to a...
Yet.
What, I haven't seen the what?
It's just they haven't seen the aliens yet.
What
Yeah.
aliens?
He's referencing
It's a
the
video
joke
game.
endings to every Silent Hill has a joke ending, and it
Yeah.
usually involves aliens and a puppy.
Man, the first game had like 4 different endings.
Yeah, they all
Oh yeah,
have
no, lots
multiple.
of the games have multiple different endings, but there's one joke ending.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the extraterrestrials. That one was funny because I didn't feel complete when I played the first game until I got all 4. And then, if I'm
Right.
not mistaken, I gave Reese the strategy guide
Yep.
for the
you
first
sure
one. And yeah, if you go through it, it'll show you how to do all 4 of them.
What? I'm gonna look that up. So
Yeah.
she grabs her daughter. They go on a road trip, and has anyone else seen a gas station that's also a tattoo shop, a body piercing place, a diner?
All the time.
Really? Is this a fucking
No, I'm
West
lying.
Coast
I'm making
thing?
things up.
Like I
It
was like,
sounds
you're,
like the business that I used to want to open.
it does, except it's missing prostitution.
Well,
Exactly. I mean, people just don't understand. If you can get a hotel, live music, alcohol, tattoos, motorcycles, and prostitution, I'm telling you, it'd make bank. It'd be like another Las Vegas.
You forgot gas station.
Fuck the gas station. Once you get there and you see all that,
The
other
gas
stuff, you're not
station's
gonna
the
get-
most
you're not
important
gonna
thing.
need gas because you're not going to go anywhere.
Look, you will never, if you don't have a gas station, you're never gonna be good as Smitty's Diner and Variety. Okay, you'll never be as good.
You can't just make things up.
I didn't make things up. That's what it fucking says. That's what
What
the
is
convenience
it?
store is called. Smitty's Diner and Variety.
Is there an actual diner?
Yes, there's
Yeah,
people
because-
eating.
There's a lot of corner stores in my area that call themselves delis that don't have a deli in them, and it's very disappointing.
No, when she goes in to pay for gas, she walks through a diner, and
That's awesome.
on the fucking outside, it has a neon light for tattoos and piercings, and there's also another
No,
one
no,
like
no.
on the
I-
inside.
Oh, you're talking about the movie. I thought you were talking about a real place.
No, well, no. Kenneth said he wants to open up a place like this, but without a gas station. Without a gas station, it's fucking not gonna work. The gas
I thought
station
you
is your
told
bread and
me-
butter.
I thought you were telling me that you have been to a real place that was a diner and a gas station.
Oh no,
very
yeah, no,
confused.
I've been to a place that's
There's
a
this-
diner and a gas station.
There's
What
a
the
place
hell?
that I deliver to that has a big Blimpie sign on the outside. And for those of you that don't know what Blimpie is like Subway. And Yeah, I delivered to this place, and there's a big Blimpie sign, and then when you go inside, it's burritos and stuff like that because Mexicans own the place, so that's what it is. It's Mexican food, but there's a big Blimpie sign on. Yeah,
And they
it's
never
pretty.
took down the sign. That's
The burritos are fucking amazing too. They're like real flour tortillas. It's awesome.
Fair enough. So, while
includes our
she's
episodes on diners.
this week on Diners and Dive-Ins,
Diners,
Tastes-
drive-ins, dives.
I
Look
want to
here-
dive in.
look here, Flavor Town, shut the fuck up. Okay, no one fucking asked you. So anyway, here, fucking innocent Alyssa flips out because someone drew all over her pictures, and she was too dumb to realize it was herself who did it.
Yeah, but she didn't get any snacks.
Yeah, and she didn't get any snacks, but she does know not to talk to strangers, even though that stranger's a police officer. That's pretty good. But I mean, that's pretty sure that's a flashback memory from when she was regular Alyssa getting fucked in a bathroom stall. So she knows not to talk to strangers now, even as innocent Alyssa. Kept that in there. Screwed that in tight.
Yep.
Have any of y'all thought that the little girl that plays Sharon / Alyssa has her moments of good acting and her moments of very terrible acting?
I think
Yes.
she's a fantastic actress.
She's good, but sometimes it's really bad. But also sometimes I don't blame her because some of the dialogue she has to say,
Silent
works.
Hill, Silent Hill.
That
That's
was
what I'm saying,
bad.
man. Or that scene later on where she's like, "Look at me, I'm burning." I'm like, "Come on, really?"
I blame the writing more on
I'm
that
dark
than her
Alyssa.
acting
Yeah,
skills.
I will say this. Some of the writing in this movie is bad. Where I was just like, guys, it's not a video game. This writing works in a video game. It does not work in a fucking movie. You can't do it like this. Like, because they stopped to give you preposition. They give you fucking history lessons like 8 times in this movie.
Yeah, well, I felt the same way about what's her name that played Sybil Bennett that was in The Walking Dead. There was a couple of moments where her acting was just like, I was just like, okay, you could have just went without saying anything at all.
I will say that I feel like the acting in this movie bounces between okay to really good. And
Like
you're
the head witch burner, that chick, because she was in Ghost Story and a bunch of other stuff. She her acting was fucking amazing. You know, the chick that gets fucked with the barbed wire at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her acting was superb.
Krista Bella.
Yeah. Her acting was awesome.
Yeah, she was awesome, and the police officer was really good. Thomas, Tigger from fucking Sons of Anarchy.
Kim Coates.
He was pretty good also. I'll give him that. And then everyone who did like the nurses and the armless dude and Pyramid Head, they all did a fantastic job with their body acting.
Well,
I
you
guess.
know,
Yes.
the guy who plays Pyramid Head's the same guy who plays the janitor and the armless guy that shoots the venom out of his chest.
It was a different dude that did the.
Yeah, that was a different guy.
Is it?
Yeah,
It was,
Oh.
yeah.
I looked
It was-
up.
Yeah,
That's
we
a
all
different
watched
guy.
the documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about it is they're all dancers.
Yep.
Yeah,
Which I
that
thought
behind the
was really
scenes
cool.
of them setting up the nurses scene, that was fucking awesome.
Hell yeah, it was. I can imagine what it would be like to be inside the suit for the armless thing. Because that
Oh.
dude, I mean, he just had this little tube to breathe out of, and then that went down around his back. I can imagine that you can't see anything. You're in there all fucking tightened up like you're in a fucking straitjacket and can't see anything, and then you're having to walk and act and
Right.
barely
Yes.
can breathe.
And
I
you
can
can't
imagine
hear.
what that'd be. Yeah, and you can't hear. I can imagine what that'd be like. It'd be like, trying to move around in a sensory deprivation chamber that moves with you.
Oh god, that and fucking the guy who plays Pyramid Head, like I feel like his back is so stiff while doing that. I was just like, oh, that just seems so uncomfortable.
Right?
So we arrive in Silent Hill because run away from police officers is the message here, children. Don't ever let them try to stop you from what you're trying to do because your child's life is worth more than whatever they think. Damn it.
Yes.
And here's where everything gets good. The visuals of Silent Hill are fucking amazing. They are beautiful. It's the best thing about this movie is the way it looks. The atmosphere and the cinematography blend to just create this beautiful I don't even know what to call it. It's just so fucking good. They
I actually want to get this sign tattooed on me. The
that'd be
Welcome to
dope.
Silent Hill sign.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I want to get that tattooed on me somewhere.
Yeah, and also I want to state, I think Silent Hill created the MySpace angle. For the record, because they in the movie they make sure they hit some of those like the upper corner shots, and I feel like some random chick was watching her brother play Silent Hill and was like, "Oh, if I did a duck face in that angle, it would be the best thing ever," and it blew up. And I don't think we're giving Silent Hill the credit for that, and I think it deserves it.
I think it's really cool that the director, was such a fan that he actually, speaking of those camera angles, you can actually see the same style of camera angles from the game in the movie. I thought that was really cool. I also thought it was cool that he made the actors play the game.
Yes,
Yeah.
it talks about him having a PS2 on set so he can show them different monsters and different angles and different sets and all of that.
Yeah,
Right.
so this is what we're gonna do.
And you can really see it, like when you're watching the movie and you're seeing Rose run through the streets and stuff like that. You can really see it from those top-down angles where she's like coming across and then she cuts around the corner and the camera whips around with her. That is straight out of the game. That's one of those things where the first time that I played the game back in the day, it fucked me up because I was like, "Where the hell am I?" Because
Yeah, static camera angles are a pain in the dick sometimes.
yeah, I mean, but I love the way that it looked, and there are other spots that you could see like where it's showing you different things. It like when she's going through and she's searching for shit for clues and whatever else, and it's showing you different things. The way the camera angles pointed down on her, but not like directly in front of her and not directly above her. I really like that from like a diagonal angle. It looks it looks superb.
It's very
Yeah.
nostalgic.
Yeah,
And it's also very like disorienting sometimes. Like they do a good job of kind of putting you on your feet. And the one thing I love about this movie is the way the camera moves. The camera, it feel like helps with the atmosphere so much as it moves in and out to focus like its shots, and or it'll be just on something and the camera will be turning as it's showing that. So you don't feel steady. Every time you get a shot of like straight on where it's not moving, it'll be in a combination with another shot that it cuts to where it's moving, or you have a big change in scenery, like it going from very bright to very dark, and like everything around you like turning up into ashes or whatever the fuck that shit is. But it sets like I would love to hire, if I was gonna make a movie, I would want the DP from this movie, because he fucking knocked it out of the fucking park.
absolutely. The crane shots were fucking amazing.
Oh my god, yes.
I just watched one because I always got the movie on, and I just watched one where the camera was at the top corner of a building, and it craned down all the way, and you see Sybil and Rose running through the street, and it cranes down all the way to an up underneath angle of both of them looking up at their faces. So it went all the way, and one continuous shot went from the top of the building down and then up underneath looking up at their faces. It's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, there's some amazing continuous shots in this movie, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, now, okay. While I was looking up things, and I was reading, like, reviews of the movie when it first came out.
You came across the Pyramid Head fan porn.
No, we've talked about that before. No, I was going to talk about, some people had the exact same complaints for this movie, and I want to throw these complaints and see how y'all felt about it. So, almost everyone agreed the movie is visually impressive, which we agree. But some of the biggest complaints were that that it had really bad dialogue, that the plot is extremely confusing, and it has too long of a runtime. Now, y'all three have a lot of knowledge when it comes to Silent Hill and what this movie represents. So for y'all, I could see this definitely not being like a muddled plot. Like y'all wouldn't see this as something confusing. But I will say the first time I watched it, I was a little confused because you find out a lot between all the history lessons, but then like the ending kind of hits you with, wait, are they forever stuck in Silent Hill? But I thought they gave Alessa her revenge, so now they shouldn't be stuck in Silent Hill, but it seems at the end of the movie they are stuck in Silent Hill. So I can
what
see...
a twist!
Yeah, I can
It's
see...
more of a limbo.
Yeah.
Where they're stuck at now is not really Silent Hill. It's more of a limbo kind of deal. That's where they're stuck in.
Okay, but the thing about limbo is you're waiting to go somewhere, so where do they go to? Where are they supposed to be going to?
I don't know. You like that shitty sequel that they put out.
I did like that shitty sequel they put out, but...
They say specifically that they escaped from Silent Hill.
Yeah, there's... Rose is still stuck, and I remember that. Rose is still stuck, and then
in Silent Hill, not in Limbo.
And Sharon gets out. But either way, at the end of that, that's the way I looked at it.
Heather.
Yeah. At the end of that, at the end of the first movie, that's the way I look at it. I look at it as they're kind of stuck in limbo because regardless of whatever they did, you know what I'm saying, the traumatic event that happened at the beginning of the movie that put them in the limbo state, whether it be a car accident in the Jeep or whatever it was, even though we see the Jeep later on and the Jeep's fine, you know, whatever it was that put them in that limbo state, they're there. They're there permanently, no matter what they do. It's just they're not stuck in that, and they're not stuck in the damn city where they're having to, you know, worry about their skin getting ripped off by Pyramid Head or something like that. They don't have to do none of that shit. They don't have to worry about
that's a shitty ending.
They don't have to worry about Alyssa's wrath, but they're still stuck.
Well, they don't have to worry about her wrath at all. They helped fix it. They helped.
That's what I'm saying.
Give her revenge. So if they're stuck in limbo, then that's a shitty ending. That sounds like me. They didn't have an ending.
In Silent Hill.
But either way,
I believe that they may be stuck. They could still be stuck in Silent Hill because it could be one of those things. Is once you enter, you never really get out.
But
I don't know if that
is because damn, what's his name? Damn, Sean Bean's character. He feels their presence in his house.
Smell her.
Yeah, but he also felt her presence when he like called her on the phone or whatever.
Yeah, but like, he literally
static.
like he got up wondering if they were there. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the movie, he woke up on the couch and he looked around wondering if they were there. Just like, and I think that's got a lot to do with the same scene that happened when he was in Silent Hill with the cop, and he was there, and and it almost seemed like he felt Rose run through him from the other plane, and it's the same thing where, you know, they when they're there and they go back home, it's almost like the multiverse kind of deal, where you got the other universe, but they're linked together. They kind of have that pass through. That's the way I look at that, because he felt their presence there. He felt it. He got up and he looked around. He got up and he walked to the door to see if the Jeep was outside. He felt them there.
Yeah, but I don't think that... I'm going to choose not to believe the limbo thing, because to me that feels like a shitty... Like, we didn't know how to end this, so... Limbo, I think I'd rather have the darker ending where they will always be trapped in the fog of Silent Hill, because when she's going through the house... And, you know, there's fog outside the house, there's fog in the house. It's like no matter what, you will always be here in Silent Hill. You came to Silent Hill and you did not make it out of Silent Hill.
And again, Kenneth, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't have these games memorized. It's been a long time since I played them. But using the evidence from the second game, where he is being attacked by monsters and weird shit is happening before he even gets to Silent Hill, that tells me that the power of Silent Hill can extend past the boundaries of Silent Hill. So I don't think they're in limbo. I think they're still in Silent Hill, quote unquote, the Silent Hill universe. Whether they're actually at home is a different story.
Yeah, but at the same time, that goes... if you try to compare it to all the craziness that goes around with Silent Hill 2, then you're opening up a whole big can, because...
Okay, let's not do that.
Let me finish my statement, and then we'll go back, because you got the whole thing where a lot of the stuff from Silent Hill 2 is based around, and I can't remember the character's fucking name. It's based around his Henry. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's based on his damn emotional state. a lot of that
Kenneth,
shit.
the reason I want to stop you is because you're going to be talking about all this on the next episode.
Okay.
I suppose that's true.
That's why I don't want you to go too far in it, or you're just going to be repeating a lot of that. So let's talk about this only in the sense of what we have from the movie. Is there evidence to support that it's a limbo, or is there evidence to support that it's still Silent Hill?
From an objective point of view, you could go either way.
Well, I'm asking, where's the evidence that it's limbo?
Them getting out of them, the cliff and all the rest of that shit, and then Chris, what is that? Chris De Silva, him feeling them in his house, which is outside of Silent Hill. That's what makes me think it. Now, what makes Jay believe that it's still Silent Hill, that's his thing. And again, that's the great thing about this.
Personally, the second movie removes any question because they find a portal in Silent Hill and push fucking Sharon through it.
Yeah,
Rose or whatever the fuck her name is.
Okay, but I'm trying to, but just this movie. Using
there
only
is no
what you
evidence
have from this.
either or.
Yeah, I agree. That's what
See,
I'm saying.
I agree. There's evidence that they are still in Silent Hill, and that's the fog.
Yep. Well, yeah,
the fog to me shows that they never, because you will never see them again not surrounded by fog. Even when they leave, they're still surrounded by fog. When they go in the house, they're still surrounded by fog. In fact, I even have to question the face that Sharon makes as the last time we see her in the movie, where she walks away and she has this really weird fucking smile on her face, as if she is not just innocent Alyssa anymore. That there's been now a combination, they have all, Dark Alyssa has put part of her in there, or because of the traumatization of Silent Hill, that she is no longer innocent Alyssa.
Well, see, I think that the dark side hopped a ride, and the good side, they kind of went back together. At that very last spot right before they leave, when Rose is holding Sharon and she says, "Close your eyes," when when Alyssa's fucking tearing everybody to shreds, and then you see the little girl come up and Sharon opens her eyes and she sees the evil right in front of her. I think it kind of hitches a ride inside of her or something like that. That's what I've thought.
That's what I feel.
Yeah, as I say, kind of how she got Dark Alyssa got into the church to begin with by hopping a ride inside of Rose.
Exactly. So, and to me, that kind of that in itself, I mean, even if that would open up to me a whole nother conversation on, okay, if she's hitching a ride out of Silent Hill inside that little girl, or they're coming together, then that, like I said, that opens up a whole nother fucking conversation of, okay, well, if they're not in Silent Hill, then they're not in Limbo. Where the fuck are they?
Yeah, you're right, because if it is her trying to find a way, if it's Dark Alyssa now trying to find a way out, then that would be evidence that they're going to somewhere. But I think you could also turn that in as a.
But then again, maybe they left and took Silent Hill with them.
Well, okay. So I brought up a question I asked Jay and Reese right before we got on the show, which is, I want to know what Silent Hill is, as in is the, at one point when Dark Alyssa is talking, she goes, "I am known by many names." And I feel like, is she the owner of Silent Hill? Is she the creator of Silent Hill? Does she bring Silent Hill to people? Does she, is she a darkness that goes and looks for people that are under such duress from tragedy that they can bring, that she feeds on that rage to bring, and then once she gets her revenge, she moves on? Or does she add that as another, that Silent Hill, there's multiple Silent Hills inside of her, and this is one Silent Hill that is inside of her, while there are multiple other Silent Hills also that she goes and she just keeps racking them up, almost like a soul collector. And there's not a lot to really base this off of in the movie, but one of the things that her saying, "I am of many names," and it seems like she's done this before. And the reason I started thinking about this is because of that last look that Sharon gives as her and Rose enter the foggy version of their house. Now, Kenneth, you being the expert, is there anything in the game that would point to yes or no on this, or is it something where it's just like it's not really explained and you can kind of just make up? I'm just theory crafting at this point.
There's something, and I can't remember all the way, but there's something that makes Silent Hill the place that makes it unique for these types of things to go on with different people in the games. That's the way it is. In the first one, it was demonic and religious. That's what it had to deal with. And I mean, we'll just completely omit the ending of the fucking aliens. That's what the first one was. It was demonic and it was religious, and it was wrapped around this little girl. It was wrapped around the little girl, and it was wrapped around the lady that ran the cult. That's what that was the bottom line. And then in the second game, like I was saying before, and I'm gonna try to keep it as vague as possible. It changes. It goes into a whole different aspect because there's a lot of things that's going around. What's going on in this guy's mind while he's searching for his wife, and it turns into almost a mystery horror kind of thing.
So, but that's what I'm saying. Could it be a second Silent Hill, or is it 100% like there's only one, like there's one Silent Hill and it just attracts people to it? Or
right, that's where I was going, and that's the way it is. It's like each one of these different stories links together based on something that has already happened in Silent Hill. That like for instance, in the second one, if I'm not mistaken, these two people in their it was either their honeymoon or their anniversary or something like that. They went to Toluca Lake on like a honeymoon type deal or something like that. It was some kind of anniversary or honeymoon or something like that, and that's how they're linked to Silent Hill. And then in the first one, it's pretty straightforward how they're linked to Silent Hill. In the third one, the little girl is. The third one is a direct sequel to the first one, so it's the same thing. She feels like, because of what happened in the first one, she feels like, damn, all that stuff starts coming home to where she needs to go back to Silent Hill to something, for lack of a better term, like a birthright kind of deal or something like that. She's got to go back.
Gotcha. So it's never really explained what exactly is Silent Hill ever.
It's definitely open for debate.
Yeah. It's never a direct kind of thing. And even in the fourth one, in Silent Hill, The Room, even though that game was kind of a ripoff of another game, it's the same thing. Downpours is the same way.
Okay.
I like Downpour.
I did too. I actually really enjoyed it.
I know you hate the movie, but you saw the second movie, right?
Yes.
So you caught the setup that the third movie was supposed to be Downpour, with the prison bus entering Silent Hill as they were leaving.
Yep.
That made me giddy.
That's like the beginning of Downpour.
Yeah, that made me giddy. I was like, "Ooh, they're gonna do a Downpour movie," and then it wasn't because nobody wanted to see it, and I cried forever.
I would see it.
If they'd have let the dude that directed the first movie do the third movie, I would have watched it.
Fair enough. All right, so
I'm a sucker.
Let's get into things we liked and things we did not like. So Reese, what is something you really, really loved about this movie?
Probably the music and the costumes more than anything.
Okay, so we know the music is, except for the one Johnny Cash song, is all music from Silent Hill. Slightly remixed because
wasn't Ring of Fire in the first game, Jay?
I would not be able to tell you.
From what I read, the Johnny Cash song is the only song in here that is not from Silent Hill. Or maybe what I read is it was not created by the Silent Hill composer.
Right. It's not Akira Yokohama. I think
I can't. I'm terrible with Japanese names.
I think that's how you pronounce his last name. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, and if anybody out there is listening can correct me, or I may find out as soon as I get off here. Damn, I could swear that when he goes to the diner in the first game, her dad, he goes to a diner, and that's where he meets the cop, is in the diner, and I could fucking swear that Ring of Fire is playing.
Quite possibly, I don't know. But what I was going with is So all the music is done by the composer of Silent Hill, except they're all slightly remixed or tweaked because apparently in Canada, you have to hire, if you're filming there, you have to hire a Canadian composer. So they had to do that. So they just hired someone to like tweak a few things. But other than that, all the music is from Silent Hill, and I thought that's an amazing thing.
It was great.
Because you don't see that in movies, especially video games movies. They use a few things, but it's like everything was so perfect with that music that they didn't have to do that.
Yeah, if you're a Silent Hill fan, you can recognize damn near you. Like when I was watching it earlier today, there was a couple of them that I hadn't paid attention to it before, and then I was like, oh, I remember where that was in the games.
Yeah, exactly. And then Reese, you're right on the clothing. I know you want to talk about the one big thing you like about Rose's clothing.
Oh, how it changes colors. Like, because it's gray and blue and brown, and then throughout the movie, it turns blue during certain lighting, and then towards the end, obviously, it's all red. You know, like when she gets stabbed and everything. I like that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, if you
with
look at it
blood.
and watch it, it goes from blue and gray to all blue and then all the way to red.
That's
It's like different phases throughout the whole movie.
yeah. It slowly kind of, and it the way she's describing it makes it sound like it changes like colors drastically, but it's not. It's a very small change that just constantly happens through the movie. So it's very, because there are points where she looks almost completely gray, and then it gets darker and darker, and like you start seeing less of the blue on her shirt, and it becomes all like a dark red. So Jay, what's something you really loved about this movie?
The creature design, like clearly they're from the game, but just being brought to life on the screen the way they did was so exciting for me, because the creature design is one of my favorite things about the games, because of how original they are and how creepy they are. I'm a sucker for good creature design, and to see them brought to life was just fantastic.
Yeah, the one creature that's like the dude who's like bent in half and his feet are like almost touching his head, that straight up reminded me of some Hellraiser shit.
The janitor.
Yeah, the janitor.
Mr.
No,
Cullen.
y'all didn't think that was some Hellraiser shit right there?
I'm very confused.
You're very
What?
confused. What?
What? What
The guy that
janitor?
was the guy that was crawling around on his belly because his legs were at the back
I
of his
didn't
head.
realize that
movie.
we were calling him the janitor.
That's what he's credited
that's the
as.
janitor.
Well, like I read the fucking credits. Come on now.
His name is Colin.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
name is Colin.
Colin is the guy who fucked Alyssa in the bathroom.
No, you
Well,
are
we
a
don't
dirty
know that
gay
he
man.
fucked her, but
We get the impression.
he sexually molested her
Yeah,
in the
you're
bathroom.
sexually molested.
And I guess if you're a predator, he chose right, because you choose the person that everyone hates. Who the fuck's gonna believe them? And if they do believe them, who cares? They're gonna burn them anyway. So yeah, then he becomes the janitor, and he's also I read somewhere that he's also supposed to be the body that's on the toilet wrapped in barbed wire, but I couldn't find anything like that actually backed that up. But it definitely gave me a 7 vibe when I was
What are you talking
watching.
about? That being the same character?
Yeah, that being Colin.
Yeah.
I thought
it is.
that is the same character.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
But then he's also like but then the janitor creature doesn't look anything like that.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. If you
He
go
doesn't
back and
have
watch
the
it.
chainsaws at all. He has fucking like leather straps on him now.
Dude,
which he
that's
didn't
barbed
have.
wire.
Yeah.
No, there's like a black leather strap on his like fucking head.
Over his eyes.
Yeah, over his eyes.
Yes.
I don't remember. Maybe that was in the toilet scene. I just didn't get a good look at his fucking eyes. I don't know. It did, like, to me, that's one where, like, if I had not read stuff, I would not have connected those two.
I thought
At
it was
all.
fairly easy myself.
But you know too much about Silent Hill.
No, I mean just straight up, because that guy is not in the game, so it's like I just connected the two because it was like, okay, the one that's all bent back that she pulls the thing out of its mouth is in the last stall in the bathroom, and then when you see the conversion happen and you see the guy coming out, sticking his tongue out, he's coming out from the last stall in the bathroom.
Mhm.
And I mean, to
Yeah,
me,
but
it was
but-
a very easy connection.
But here's why I'm not connecting it, because one, there you don't honestly, I don't think unless you read something you realize that the Colin, the guy who molested her, is the same person wrapped in barbed wire, because there's really nothing that shows that could be there besides the fact that the one scene you see of him, he's also in the bathroom.
Well,
Dude,
he's also still wearing
no,
his outfit as
no.
Colin.
There is a spot where it shows the patch on the thing that's wrapped up in the barbed wire's jacket, and it says Colin.
He's still wearing his outfit, his janitor clothing.
Okay.
There
I'm
is
not,
a
okay,
spot.
let me spell this out for y'all, because y'all aren't getting what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to
very
point out
confused.
why critics were so confused. Because they don't do a good enough job of connecting it. You have to watch it multiple times. Most critics would only have watched this once. That's why most of them are so confused at this story. That's why they see it as so muddled.
Again,
Now
I thought that was pretty straightforward. I'm just saying, even the first time I watched it, I did not have no problem connecting those together.
Okay, well, I apparently am with the critics on that one, because unless you were really if I have not read stuff on it, I would not have made those connections, because they're such tiny connections. Especially because the way I look at it, like, especially from the barbed wire body turning into the creature, I wouldn't have made that connection either, because that's in the I don't know what to describe the transition, but that's pre-transition until it goes into the darkness. So there's no other place in this movie where let me finish this. So there's no other place in this movie that's set up that something she sees pre-darkness transforms into something in the darkness. So you don't make that connection off the back. And most critics are not going to catch that. That's why, and that's just one of the multiple fucking things in here that made them all so confused. Like, I just showed on there where it showed the very small, tiny clip of Colin, but they haven't told you about Colin molested her yet. So by the time they tell you about that, there's a good chance you're not going to remember this half a second clip.
Again, I mean, different people view things differently. You know what I'm saying? But again, I had no problem whatsoever putting together the thing that she pulled out, where she pulled the thing out of his mouth. I had no problem putting that together with the one that was crawling on the floor with his legs bent back to the back of his head. And I also had no problem whatsoever putting the janitor thing where he molested her in the bathroom together with the person with a barbed wire wrapped around his head. I had no problem putting that together at all. None.
But do you at least understand what I'm saying? How easy it is? Am I at least explaining to it correctly why I understand how critics thought this was confusing and muddled?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
because that's what I'm trying to point out. That I
can see the viewpoint of that. You know what I'm saying? Because you just told it to me. But can I agree with it being that far off to not put it together? Not really. I don't agree with it, but at the same time, I mean, if they didn't get it, they didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't, whatever.
See, that's what I'm saying. I understand how they did not get certain things. I completely understand. I completely understand why they thought this was muddled.
I think just about everything in this movie, and to me, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, different opinions for different people. But to me, I think that everything in this movie was straightforward with the exception of the ending.
Well, here's why I think your history of being a fan of Silent Hill makes all of this easier for you to understand, because you've played the games. You're looking for those small connections that help you put together the story. As to where most movies, they're not that small unless they're like something where you're like at the end of it, you go back and go, oh shit, they told you this the whole time. Which I will say makes Silent Hill on the second viewing way better. And I think if a lot of critics had watched it a second time, they would have had a way easier time, because they can go back and, like with the Colin thing, they can go back and go, oh shit, the guy in the bathroom that they showed for a split second that said Colin was the guy that molested her. They might not notice that on the first viewing, because it happens so quickly.
And see,
just like when she goes to pull the thing out of his fucking mouth in that toilet stall. Like you're not really gonna fucking, like, you get that because if you play the games, you know you're looking for those small things. But I could see how the average viewer or a critic would be like, how the fuck did they know to pull that out of his mouth? I mean, yes, there's an arrow pointing down at the body, but that doesn't specifically mean go into the mouth.
Yeah, but still, at the same time, I mean, I get what you're saying. I do. When you specifically put with the average watcher, because
I know what I can say
that's
to you now. Remember how
because the biggest thing that irritated me about even fans saying that this movie wasn't good is I was just like, it is just like the fucking video game. It is just like it. It looks like it. It sounds like it. The atmosphere is like it. And then the little shit that you got to pick up that you just described is just like it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying why it's so much easier for you to get it.
Right. And so since you put it together like that, I get you. I do get you. And I get where you say that. But to me, it's still, if I take away the average viewer and the critics, if I take away them and I think about just the fans of the games that said they didn't like this movie, it irritates me from that aspect because it is so much like the game.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about we're talking about the muddled of the thing. Like I guess I can use the same thing. Like y'all said to me, I don't remember what show it was, but I think it was dealing with the witch. But
where we were talking about giving the audience too much credit.
Yes, like in this movie, they don't bother to even give a shit about that. They are literally just like, if you're not fucking paying attention, fucking sucks to be you. We're going to give you your history lessons. And if you don't follow that, you just don't follow it.
I know,
and it's also, I think, part of the movie is made to be a mystery that's not solved because that's what the video games are.
And see, I think that's the reason why I fucking hated the sequel so much. Because the sequel takes away all that. You know, the things that you were describing, basically the things that the critics complained about, the sequel takes that shit away and it makes it straightforward. And I think that's the reason why I fucking hated the sequel.
And that could be. I could definitely see them going.
The acting was terrible,
but it still had the best 3D of any movie I've ever seen in theaters. Period.
It actually had. I remember seeing it in the theater, and it did have really impressive 3D effects.
I don't like watching movies in 3D anyway, but I will take your word for it.
Yeah, because Reese, you saw it in theaters with me, and I know you don't like the movie either, but you got to admit the 3D was fucking awesome.
No, yeah, the 3D was great, but I'm glad Kenneth described it that way because I wasn't able to put in words why I didn't like the second one. But now that you say that, Kenneth, I'm glad. Like, oh, okay, now I understand why I don't like it because it was very hard to describe to people why.
Yeah, and I think with the first Silent Hill, I think Kenneth is right in being angry at people who are fans of Silent Hills to not be a fan of this movie. And because, like, to me, I understand why if you're not a fan of the Silent Hill games, you would not be a fan of this movie because it does not hold your hand. It does not really give a shit about you. It is doing exactly what it wants to do. And if you can't enjoy that, then you can't enjoy what the essence of Silent Hill is.
Exactly.
And I'm a fan of the games in the sense that I like the story, I like the atmosphere, but I've never played them. And for me, like, I did have to do research on this movie to catch certain things. Like, so I can have, like, that's why I can understand so much of the critics. But we'll get back into what we were originally talking about here with Jay talking about how much he loved the monster design. And let's fucking, it's like I brought that fucking back. Let's talk about goddamn Pyramid Head.
Oh.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
My fantasy.
Fucking
yeah,
sexy.
I've got a raging boner right now.
That, like, to be honest, Pyramid Head is one of the scariest looking fucking things because it's basically a plague doctor mask.
Yeah.
That, those are already fucking scary, but it was like, we're gonna make it out of fucking metal, and it's gonna, like, fucking later on in life, Deadmau is gonna be like, I wish I would have fucking thought of that before this fucking mouse. God damn it, I could have been fucking rocking it. Fucking Skrillex, who they wouldn't have been talking about fucking scary monsters. They would have been talking about goddamn dead Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
Mao. Whatever his fucking name is. But yeah, that is one of the scariest looking fucking designs ever. And when I see clips from the video games and you see like I think in number 2, and Kenneth probably will bring this up on the next episode, there's a scene of like Pyramid Head just like banging mannequins.
Oh.
And it's just the goddamn creepiest fucking thing ever. And in this movie, Pyramid Head basically has 2 really good scenes. Where he first appears and he just starts stabbing his goddamn sword into the fucking room they're hiding in and swinging that motherfucker around. is terrifying. I'm just like, that sword is brutal as shit. There is only one sword that could beat that sword.
Is it?
It's Guts Dragon Slayer sword.
Oh,
Because nothing can beat that goddamn sword.
I actually thought you were gonna put like an insert penis joke here on that one.
No, I'm not going to talk about Cloud Strife. But and then the second scene, which is one of the best scenes in the fucking movie, is when he rips the flesh off of that chick.
Dude,
That
I
one's the
remember when
best
we
one.
saw that in the theater, man. Me and my dad were like, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah,
It was so good.
It took me by surprise. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a fucking brutal ass scene. He just rips the fucking.
You just see that grasp and that twist, and as she's screaming, and he pulls
So
that
good.
flesh up.
Yeah, and it's like.
I got a
Because
stiffy.
the wrapper off a piece of chocolate.
I got a stiffy.
Yeah. So the chick who got her skin ripped off was Anna, and it's so funny because her mom, Eleanor, comes up to Christabella and is like, "Look what they did to my daughter." And Christabella's like, "No, your daughter didn't listen. She did that to herself." And I was like, for a second, I was like, you know what? I like these people. They call it as it is. But then they go right back into being batshit crazy again. Which fucking what's up? Okay, in the movie, I mean in the video games, does Pyramid Head fucking walk around with the fucking bugs from the Mummy, or is that just in the movie?
I don't remember seeing them.
Yeah,
Actually,
I'm pretty sure
tell you
he's
the
by
truth.
himself.
Yeah, I don't remember really seeing those bugs. Tell you the
Yeah,
truth.
I think it's cool as shit because it's like it's almost like he's walking on a wave of them, but really he's just kicking them, and for some reason they all want to be around him.
But that actually brings me to
They'll probably feast on the dead bodies that he leaves.
Oh, I guess that's true. I guess he just fucks the dead bodies and then drops them. Or is he a mannequin-only kind of person?
You remember that spot where he's fucking where the cop is looking down at that one bug and it just kind of it's on its back like
It's
a
got a
turtle.
weird ass
Oh,
face.
and that face.
And it looks up and it screams at her before she squishes.
Yeah. Ugh, fucking God, that scene. So yeah, just fucking now. Did y'all hear about the ending they wanted to shoot for this movie, but they couldn't because of budget?
Did it involve a UFO?
No. So instead of it ending with everyone getting fucked up by barbed wire, it was supposed to be 4 pyramid heads with each one having a different weapon, killing fucking everyone.
That would have been a good one.
That would have been cool, but I don't know, man. I still kind of like I got to see
really
a
like
woman
the way they
get
ended.
raped with barbed wire and then split in two.
Yeah,
I
the whole
really
Evil
liked it.
Dead.
And it also felt like it felt like a final boss to a video game too.
Right.
I mean, I
it
guess
did.
Yeah,
4 pyramid
yeah.
heads would feel like a final boss too, but
When
Bro.
you see the bed and the barbed wire, come up out of the hole in the ground, and then she kind of lingers over everybody, I completely agree with you, Jay. It does. It looks like the final boss fight. where
I
you're like-
expected a life bar to show up and tell me how
Right.
close I was to winning.
and then you see the people kind of running around the circle that she's sticking up out of, where you got to look up and you got to hit them and then jump and all that shit. Yeah, it
If
was.
they
Cool.
would have changed it to the Pyramid Heads, there wouldn't have been that same feeling of revenge and like her sweet vengeance on the people.
Also, if
Right,
they would have
that's
done the
true.
Pyramid Heads, I wouldn't have understood why the Pyramid Head wouldn't have killed Rose, because he didn't really seem to have much of a problem trying to kill her earlier in the movie. You know what I mean?
That is true.
So, okay. Kenneth, what is something you really loved about the movie?
Well, aside from the
Everything's been named already.
aside from the atmosphere, which was my favorite thing because it really captured the atmosphere, the change between the darkness and the rest of the time, that change, I love it, the way that it looks and everything, because it reminds me, there's this one spot in Silent Hill 3 where you go into a bathroom, you're Heather, and I can't remember whether you're in the hospital or in the school. And you go into the bathroom, and when you go in there, you're looking at yourself in the mirror, and then you go back out because there's nothing in the room, and you can't get out. The room's locked, and the room changes like it does between the light and the dark, and it looks just like it. And that is the reason why I loved it so much, because the whole change in the movie between the two planes, it looks just like it did when you're in that room in Silent Hill 3.
Okay. I don't know about that Silent Hill 3 because I haven't played it, but I will say I agree with the transition places. Especially the scene where it actually, like, right after they deal with Pyramid Head and it transitions back to the regular, to normal, with the darkness going away. Everything going from this, like, blacks and reds back to this very docile gray is just fucking awesome.
Goes from rust to boring.
Yeah, pretty much. As for me, my favorite thing are the camera. The camera work in this movie is my favorite fucking thing. I think the camera work in this movie makes up for any complaints you have about dialogue or muddled plot or any of that shit. If you can't look at this movie and go, God damn, this movie is fucking beautiful, I guess I'll get over Sean Bean's terrible American accent. It's fucking fantastic. I love it. So let's go into things we did not like about the movie. Reese, you're stepping up to bat again. What did you not? What's one thing you did not like about the movie?
The only, I guess something minor. The only thing I didn't really like is maybe the small amount of the acting in the movie. That's the only.
Okay, where there's spots of bad acting.
That's the only problem I had with it. You know, there was some of the scenes and some of the script. I was just like, is that just? It was random. It had nothing to do with anything. I didn't know if it was just they just wanted to cut it out and try something different, but they just went with it because they thought it sounded good, but because I didn't like it. I don't know. That was the only problem I had.
All right, Jay, what's something you did not like about the movie?
Lack of boobs. Very disappointing.
But cop boobs.
Yeah, close. Very, very close.
There was one set of boobs in the movie. I mean, the flesh got ripped off like right afterwards. But still.
I suppose that's true. I don't know if I can get off to that though. Only one way to find out.
Alrighty then.
I mean, there's Pyramid Head
whips
boobs.
it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna lube up and go to town.
Woo!
With blood.
Yeah. No. Where would I get the blood from? That's not. If that's bleeding, then we have problems. I need to go to an emergency walk-in clinic.
I mean, some people beat their dick till it bleeds. That's just the way it is.
Oh no,
blood.
No, that's not.
Is that the new Slayer album? I Ski Blood?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, they're going to be in Atlanta with Lamb of God and Anthrax.
Aren't they doing their final farewell tour or something?
Yep.
Final farewell.
Oh, thank God. Tired of these fucking Catholics trying to pretend they're Satanist. Fucking posers. The Slayers are fucking Rick Ross of fucking metal music. Anyway, there's going to be no metal fan's going to get that at all. They're going to be like, what the fuck does that mean?
So, boobs.
So, okay.
No, for a real answer.
Oh, that wasn't the real answer?
No,
I actually expected you to be serious.
Making a joke, and you guys took it way too far. You guys need to chill out. A serious podcast.
Titties.
I'd actually have to say all the excess of Sean Bean.
Yeah,
like you guys said at the beginning, it's pretty much unnecessary. Like I would have been fine with him showing up and then the cop being like, "It's cool, dude, we'll find her," and that being the end of that. I didn't need to see him like breaking into the library and almost getting arrested and the cop covering up the adoption and that shit. Show me more monsters.
Yeah, no, I agree. It takes you out of the film to me. Because I want to.
Town.
Yeah, I'm in Silent Hill. Leave me. Silent Hill already has to keep you in while doing transitions. So that's a hard enough job as it is, because I could see how someone could be like, "Oh, I get taken out every time they do a transition," because it's so drastic. But it's even, but I don't think that would actually bother anyone because it's so much more fucking drastic when they go to fucking Sean Bean shit.
Yeah.
The only good thing about Sean Bean shit is we get to hang out with the cop, and I like him. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I'm with fucking Jay. I hate it. It just takes me out of the film. So, Kenneth, something you did not like about the movie?
I think I'm gonna go back to what I said before. The little girl, there were just those moments, man, where I'm like, there was another spot where she's looking up and she's talking to Rose, and it's the evil Alyssa, and she's talking up to her, and then she makes this comment where I can't remember how the conversation goes, but she looks up and she's like, "Revenge," and she's got this weird little smirk on her face, and I'm just like, "Oh my god, that looked like shit."
Yeah, I will say that kind of rolls into my thing I didn't like about the movie is the way they did their exposition with the history lessons. They should have rewrote some of that dialogue because it feels like something I would have heard in a video game. And let's be honest, most dialogue in video games would not transition well to being a movie being told by real life people because it's a different feel. And
Right.
and just the way they do the fucking exposition in this movie is just like, especially when Alyssa's telling the story of how all of this came to happen, like they put this old filter on it, and it's just kind of odd. It slows the movie to a fucking crawl, and this movie's already long at like 2 hours and 5 minutes or some shit.
It doesn't feel all that long to me, though.
It doesn't.
To me, it does, but it's mostly because of the Sean Bean parts.
The
'Cause
Bean.
I don't want to watch him look through fucking files. Like, I don't give a shit.
You know what's weird? Since the whole Silent Hill thing, it's like something I just noticed with the whole Silent Hill town and the evil entities, and the town knows about it. Why are you making it so easy to reach the burned files in the orphanage? Like, shouldn't that be locked up in a storage center somewhere deep underground?
Yeah, wouldn't he have hidden that? Like, wouldn't he have taken all that and hidden it if he's already hidden so much shit?
Like, they made it very easy and accessible.
Yeah. That's a very valid fucking point. He didn't do a good enough job. I want his resignation on my desk tomorrow.
I'll put it right next to the orphanage house.
Yeah.
That way he can just come back and get it. And
Well, he's going to be working for the orphanage now because he's not going to have a fucking job. He's going to have to go hook up with the blonde nun from the orphanage. All right, so... Sorry, I think it's funny. Let's actually talk about one of the most fucking brutal scenes in this entire movie, the burning of Sybil.
Ooh. Oh, so good.
The effects are fucking good. The fucking I feel like I can't breathe watching that fucking scene.
mm-hmm.
Like, I can feel the heat. They do such a good job of conveying being burned alive.
You suck.
You know, when I first saw that scene, when I was younger, I couldn't understand how hot it actually was on her. It looked painful, but I couldn't understand it. Then one day when I was around like a fire pit or a thing of heat, that scene instantly came to my mind, and I thought, let me just see how hot I can actually get close to it. And I couldn't be near it at all. So just thinking the magnitude of pain that could be, it intrigued me.
Yeah, and she doesn't get a break from it either, because once you roll her up on top of it, that heat, it's rising straight onto her. So
Takes her breath and everything.
it's like she's getting cooked, literally.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah.
And to watch her head as she's burning, when you watch her neck stretch out and her skin start to peel, oh, that's the part that scares me.
Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
nightmare the other night watching somebody get burned alive.
Oh.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
We just watched this scene where Rose cuts open the painting to find room 111.
Mhm.
And that's another scene that just makes you go, like, video game wise, makes perfect fucking sense, because that is something that would absolutely happen in a video game. I found a drawing earlier in where they would keep the room key for room 111 of someone getting burned at the stake, and now there's no 111, but there's a place where 111 would be, and there's a picture of someone fucking burning at a stake. Let me cut this open. Perfect sense in a video game, but watching a movie, you're just like, I don't know if they would put that together, because there's just such a different feel with a movie compared to a video game. In a movie, that feels like, what's the fucking word I'm looking for? Easy writing. It's a cop-out, almost like, it's convenient in a movie. But in a video game, it's not convenient because you're supposed to be putting together clues to solve puzzles. Like, that's the whole point of the game. But in a movie, it just comes off as convenient. And I think that's why, like, I guess maybe I'm stuck too much on why critics didn't like this movie. because now I'm starting to be like, well, you wrote it off as a video game movie without realizing it really is a video game movie.
Right. That's what makes it so great.
I would honestly, I think I got to go with Kenneth. I think this movie is the most faithful, not only faithful adaptation of a video game movie, it is the closest a movie has actually been to a video game, because it takes camera angles, it takes puzzle solving, except they're solving the puzzles, they're putting it together, and if you're not paying close enough attention, you will miss it, or you will call it convenient writing.
That's what I'm saying. And I mean, it's like, this movie was made for the fans. That's what it's made for.
Right.
It's made for fans of the game. And I can see where it didn't do majorly fantastic, even though it did make over its budget in the box office.
Yeah, it almost doubled its budget.
Right.
Worldwide.
Right. But I can still see to where it didn't do, I mean, number one, it's a horror movie anyway. So it's not going to do fucking fantastic. But at the same time, I mean, I can see it to a point, but at the same time, this was made for the fans. That's exactly what it was made for. The music is the same, the angles are the same, the look is the same, the basic plot is the same. I mean, everything.
And you know what? How many movies have the balls to be that close to source material?
Very
Watchmen.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Fuck the Watchmen.
Anyway,
Fuck that movie.
I mean, but look at Resident Evil. Look at Resident Evil, and look at.
Can we not look at Resident Evil for a while?
Wait. Look at how many people complained about Resident Evil because of how far removed it was from its source material. But then we get a movie like Silent Hill where it's fucking damn near spot on, and people still complain about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Resident Evil throughout its video
any
game
closer
feel.
to the video game, they wouldn't need to show her inventory menu.
Right.
Oh my God! See, because like with Resident Evil, they threw away the video game aesthetics and replaced it with action aesthetics. They just want it was basically an action movie.
Yeah.
Which works for the later on Resident Evil games like 4 and up, but it does not work for prior to 4 because those were survival horror movies. While they did use more action than Silent Hill did, they still like weren't as actiony as the fucking movie made it out to be.
Right. And to me, that's, don't get me wrong. I mean, I watch the Resident Evil movies and I don't mind them, but I don't. After the first one, I did not compare it to the source material at all after that, because if you do, you're going to end up going through the whole series being pissed off.
I did go through the whole series being pissed off.
Right. So, you're a perfect example of what I'm talking about.
poor Jay.
I mean, there was things I liked, but there's definitely more things I didn't like.
I've only seen I know I've seen the first 2 and I may have seen the third one.
I've watched all
But
of
I can't
them,
remember it.
unfortunately.
I've watched all of them, and see, the way I look at it is, I look at the first Resident Evil movie as just an action shooter zombie movie. That's all it is.
So the first Resident Evil was a great side story to the first game. I was like, okay, cool. They're gonna go with this kind of like parallel thing. I could definitely see, after this one's done taking place, the first game takes place. They go in, but then they just threw that all to hell, and they ruined a lot of characters.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the ending of this movie.
Okay.
Again?
Well, let's dive into it now. Like we talked about it a little bit, but let's like really get into.
I think we talked about it a lot.
Yeah, I guess we did.
Well, we talked about the very end of it. We haven't really discussed.
Yeah, I'm talking.
The maim
Let's
and
start
brutality of barbed wire.
Oh yeah, we could talk with that.
Yes. Let's talk barbed
So hot.
wires. Burned adult Alyssa rises up from a hole in the ground.
By the way, that fucking makeup looks so good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when you're
And-
looking up at her in the bed, man, I was just like, oh, wow.
And she's kind of smiling as she turns away.
Right?
Yeah. I love when the razors are killing everyone and you just see little dark Alyssa just kind of dancing around.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I
with
thought,
the blood-
like-
she's dancing in the rain when the blood's falling down on her.
Yes. I actually thought that was pretty fucking funny. So this ending is pretty brutal. The CGI is okay. But considering it was 2006, It's pretty fucking solid.
The only reason why I give it more of a pass than I normally would is because there's so much shit going on that you really don't have time to focus on it directly.
Right, it's going so fast. There's so many scenes and clips. And people
Right.
Yeah.
screaming.
I mean, because it's like you can tell that it's CGI.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's not like looking directly at a character. You know, like I watched Tron last night, Tron Legacy, which I actually like the movie.
I
But
really liked it.
you say what?
So I like that one too.
Right.
Me too.
But at the same time, I mean, you look at the CGI on young Flynn's face,
Yeah.
it was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It's-
Or
and-
like when you use
terrible.
CGI to take off a mustache, you know?
Yeah,
It's-
that's the issue.
Yeah, so my point is that damn, since there's so much shit going on and there's so much action, you don't really have the time to think to yourself, man, that CGI looks like shit. Because you don't.
Yeah,
have
no,
time.
I agree with you. It is kind of actually hard to really sit there and you'd have to really want to nitpick it to go into it.
I mean, it's just like I just saw some barbed wire go into this goddamn, raging cunt leader bitch is a cult leader bitch's fucking vagina and saw her get tore in half. I'm really
Yeah.
not caring about the CGI right now.
And that for sure was a fucking fantastic homage to Evil Dead, by the way.
Yeah.
It was
And every
such-
hentai ever.
True, can't argue that. But yeah, that like Dark Alyssa being able to enter through Rose to actually like help do this, because you gotta think at the end of the day, Alyssa gets her revenge, whether that's depending on how you look at it, whether you look at Alyssa as good or bad with what happened to her, like evil wins against evil in this movie.
Pretty much.
Because like there's no happy ending to this movie.
Nope.
Because you really don't know, like we talked about earlier, we really don't know what happened with Rose and Sharon. We don't know where they're at. We don't know really what it fully means. And fucking everyone that from the cult is dead. Fucking Sybil's dead, and Sybil was the best person in this whole fucking movie as for like being a good person.
Dahlia's alive.
Yeah, I get Dahlia's alive, but she's still stuck in Silent Hill.
Yeah, but she's got her daughter now. They can enjoy all the lost time.
I don't really
Does
call it
she? Yeah,
evil
but her
against-
daughter's still a fucking burned victim that's got to be hooked to machines to stay alive, basically.
Yeah,
I don't
but
really
still.
call it evil against evil, even though that's essentially what it is. I call it more of fucking vengeance against stupidity.
Well, no, it's still a revenge story, but it's like when you watch movies and they talk about revenge turning you in, like wanting revenge so bad that it turns you into something evil. That's basically what we have here, and that
Like Yoda.
Yoda. Oh, never mind. I get what you're saying. Yoda taught. So I was thinking about. I'm like, when did Yoda want revenge so bad he turned fucking evil? But he was actually talking about Yoda actually preaches revenge will turn you bad. You can't
Right.
do that. But for a second, I was like, oh shit, was Yoda fucking like revenge plotting some motherfuckers?
No, he
but-
just sets Jedi temples on fire.
Yeah, he just fucks people up like that. He's like a fucking Norwegian Jedi.
Yeah, spoiler alert for anybody out there that hasn't seen the most recent Star Wars movie.
If you wouldn't have said that, no one would have known what you were talking about. But at this point, you should have seen the fucking movie.
Yeah,
Either that, or you have no
Amazing.
interest in seeing the movie, and it probably doesn't matter to you.
Yeah.
Because it's not like it's some hidden fucking gem of a movie. It's fucking Star Wars.
amazing.
I enjoyed it. So yeah, that is something to say about this movie. Like, regardless of who you're rooting for, no one wins. It's a very fucking like downbeat ending for everyone involved.
And I love
And
that.
And yeah, it fucking works so well, and it does. It shows you, like, because I just finished watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and there's a character that goes through that whole thing of revenge being like you're so stuck on your revenge that it's turning you evil. It's turning you bad, and that's what happens in this movie. Evil turns her bad, like, and that's the thing, is all of her innocence was taken out of her and put into Sharon, and then all of her evil was put into Dark Alyssa, but
All
yet
her hate.
yeah, all of, I guess I should say, all of her hate got put into there, and it kind of made me go, well, what's actually left in the fucking body? Like, if you take away the hate and you take away the innocence.
Well, all right. So
Masturbation.
you got Sharon, which is the good part that's left, and then you've got Dark Alyssa, which is the evil entity, the demon per se, and then you've got the hatred and everything that is fueling the demon, which is coming directly from Alyssa in the bed.
Yeah, you're right, because Dark Alyssa is just a form, because Dark Alyssa says, I go by many names, I'm assuming she goes by many forms.
Right. You know, she when the hate started, it started manifesting itself in small ways, and then fucking the demon comes and fucking basically amplifies what's already being starting to manifest itself.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, you see what happened to that hot,
Nurse.
dual-haired nurse.
Yep, she got fucked up just for wanting to take a peek.
Yep.
That's what you get, motherfucker. Yeah, so the fucking just such a downbeat ending. I wanted to bring up a theory and see if any of y'all thought about this or have heard about it or what, but
Doesn't make any sense, sorry.
oh, damn it. The theory that they actually got in a car wreck. And
No. None of that's such a cheap psychological like cop out that they've been dead the whole time. Like, that's not how Silent Hill works. That's not how any of the games are. It's way different.
Well, to me, I think it does hold some sway as a possibility, just because Silent Hill technically could be a form of hell.
Yeah, but see, I agree with Jay. I don't think it's death per se. I don't really think it is, but I do think that some form of tragic event always causes again, to use the same term, the amplification of everything that's going on in Silent Hill. There has to be some form of tragic event. In this case, for the movie, the tragic event started off with, the little girl getting barbecued because they thought she was a witch. And then later on that the mom and her going up to Silent Hill, and then, whatever tragic event happened at that moment, because it's never really clear, but it shows that they're having an accident. But I think that's kind of like their accident is kind of like the doorway into, so to speak.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to, but then again, it's kind of hard to describe because I really don't fucking know.
Yeah.
People just end up there.
And now they're in limbo.
Right.
Here's the thing. If they wouldn't have been such shitty witch burners, they wouldn't have had this problem. This town has been burning witches since before it had a name. And had none of these issues, but they had to fuck up and not fully kill the girl, which they should have fucking done, and then they wouldn't have had this problem.
But that in itself shows the strength of this girl's spirit. Because think about it, man. I mean, damn, she went through a whole lot more than old Sybil did, and Sybil died.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. Like, when you read like the description of this movie, it talks about Alyssa being born with psychic abilities, but they never really show that in the movie. Like, they don't really explain why everyone thinks she's a witch, but besides the fact that I do believe they make a mention of her being born out of wedlock.
Right. They say something about her not having a dad, but other than that, they don't really
but they don't ever
say
else. Yeah, they don't ever say anything about like fucking psychic abilities or any other kind of witch forms.
Mm-mm.
And yet, so many descriptions I saw of this movie, like, brought up the fact that she's psychic.
Yeah, and I didn't see anything about it, man, because like I said, I mean, I think everybody was just picking on her because she was different, because they said they made some comment at some point in time about her being like the sweetest girl or something like that, but nobody could see past the fact that she was born without a dad or something.
Because her mom's a whore.
Yeah, well,
Right.
Colin saw past it.
Hey, she did look kind of hot with that red hair, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right, well, okay, well, let's get
a great
some.
shot of her ass in the third Highlander movie.
Ah, well, let's get. Wait, of the little girl?
No, the mom.
Jesus Christ, Jerry.
What? I didn't know. Maybe he's on Team Colin. Fuck.
That
Wow.
was fucked up.
Oh,
all right, let's
Jesus
get some.
Christ.
Sick
Let's,
bastard.
Yeah, this podcast is over. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll be on Podbean from now on.
fuck,
Next
I'm gonna get
episode is
kicked
on
off
video
another
games.
podcast, aren't I?
This is
Have
where
a
I
good
go.
day. No, we're not kicking you off. We're just ending the episode. That's it.
Oh,
There's
okay.
nothing
All
more
right.
to say.
Well, let's get in some final thoughts about this. Jay, what are your final thoughts about Silent Hill?
Sometimes when your family is fighting, you just need to step up and not be so bad. And those are Jerry's final thoughts. That was a terrible, terrible Jerry Springer impression that I was trying to do there. I like it. I like it a lot. For a video game movie, it is definitely one of the best. I still think Postal's a little bit better, but mainly because of the fucked up jokes, especially the one at the beginning. But yeah, it's definitely one of the best video game movies ever made. It's super accurate. The imagery is fantastic. The care that the creators took in making this one is just, it's evident throughout the whole thing. And it's one of my favorites to watch, as discussed in the top 10 horror movies of all time episode, where it won a runner-up spot.
And made it on Kenneth's list. So, Kenneth, what's your final words on Silent Hill?
Virtually a redo of everything that I've said so far. It's a fantastic fucking movie. I think it's great. I mean, there's a couple of little things here and there, but, not every movie made is perfect. So, other than that, I mean, it's great. Captures everything about the game that I think is important. And it's one of those that'll always be, close to my heart. I mean, it's a great fucking movie. It's done very well. And I think the dude that did it, Christoph Gans, I think that he didn't get credit where he deserved it. Because he did an amazing fucking job.
I agree with you there. Reese, final thoughts, Silent Hill.
Well, I'm actually kind of mad now because Kenneth took the words out of my mouth. I was gonna say the exact
God,
same
why don't y'all
thing.
go
You
get a
put
fucking
those
room?
back.
Hey, I would love to. Reese, you give me the word, honey, and we'll go get a room.
I
And
want
then
to
I'll put
watch.
some stuff back in your mouth.
But I don't know how to respond to that.
Speechless.
But yeah, what I was gonna say was pretty much the exact same thing. Only I was going to say that I give credit to where credit is due, and I give Christoph Gans that credit for being dedicated to making this close to the game as possible by researching and playing the games and trying to give the feel back into all the fans as a Silent Hill fan myself. That to hope that once they watch this, they will feel nostalgic and feel like they're back in the game again. As when you play that game for the first time. Fair
enough. I gotta say, one, I think it's a fantastic horror movie. I think there are brutal scenes in it. There are creepy scenes in it. It's one of the best video game adaptations ever. But I will say this: if you don't like horror video games, or you don't like video games, or you don't like Silent Hill, or not even you don't like them, but you just don't have any expertise in the area or any knowledge of the area, I think that can affect your viewing of this movie. And I think when watching this movie, you need to keep in mind that it is based off a video game and it runs like a video game. And I think that's why so many people, because I recently saw people, when Kenneth chose it for his top 10, I saw people say, I can't believe that's in his top 10. And that they were like, oh, it's like a 6 out of 10 movie at best. And I think it's just because those people don't have the video game side of it to them. And if that's the case, I completely understand it, because they're not going to look at it in the same eyes as someone like Kenneth or Reese or Jay, because they don't have that video game side of it. And while I didn't play the video games, I have a knowledge and an expertise in video games, so I can understand it and I can see it from that. So as for regular horror fans or critics or anyone having the complaints of the story being a little muddled, I can give it to them. I can be like, okay, I can see where you don't understand it completely.
I could see complaints about the story, but even if a horror fan has not played or a single video game in their life, not even a Silent Hill game, a single video game in their life, how they could overlook the fantastic camera work, the fantastic music, and the amazing effects and the ending and still say this is a bad movie?
Well-
That's crazy to me. I don't know how anybody who is a fan of horror in general can look at this and say overall it's a bad movie with everything good about it.
Yeah, I agree with you because the cinematography, the just in general, the atmosphere of the movie, the effects in the movie, the monsters in the movie, the fucking brutality of the movie, to me, all of that outweighs some shoddy acting, some mediocre dialogue. It really overshadows that. And I can understand how some people may not like the final ending past like all the razor blades where, you know, they walk into the house shit. I can see how someone wouldn't like that. But I agree. I don't see how a horror fan does not, you know, like this movie. But like I said, most people have seen like give it a 6 or above out of 10.
I could understand that from people who aren't fans of the game.
Yeah, but if you're giving this movie under a 5, I really don't know why. And if you do rate this movie under a 5 out of 10, I'd love to know why. Like, leave it in the comments. Like, tell me if it's because you just don't get it. Tell me, do you have any history with the video game? Do you have any history with horror video games in general? Like, or do you just play Call of Duty or Tetris? Like, what's your background and how do you think that affects your viewing of this movie? Because I do believe the more you have background in that, the more enjoyable this movie is.
Do you think that when people heard that this movie was coming out and whatever, you know how you've got those certain that group of people that have heard stories about how awesome Silent Hill is and something like that, and they fabricated this idea in their head, but yet have never played the games, but they've heard their friends or their buddies or somebody that has hung around me or hung around Jay or whatever, or hung around Reese, whoever, and they've heard us talk up and hype the game so much, but yet that person never played it. And then when they saw the movie, it wasn't what they expected it to be based on the hype that was given by fans of the games. So that could be the reason why they didn't like it. Does that make sense?
Sure. For sure.
Yeah, 100%. You can't slay a hype beast. And that's a problem because if I take what like Kenneth and Reese and Jay say about the videos, amazing atmosphere, a great mystery, a great story, really creepy monsters, and they watch this movie and they don't like. To me, it fits all of those. This with the dialogue being I think the dialogue affects the story as it's told, but I don't like. I don't really feel like those descriptions should hyped it up so bad without any knowledge of the film. Or without any knowledge of the video game, because what are you basing your expectations on if they're just like, oh, it's creepy? Well, this movie is fucking creepy. Oh, the atmosphere, well, this movie has atmosphere. The monsters, this movie has fucking awesome monsters. They do such a fucking good job. If you hyped yourself so far, then I guess you're probably one of those people that for every movie, like, your expectations are so high, and you are probably more disappointed at every movie you see than I was when I watched the first Transformers live action movie. Like,
I hate the word hype as of late. People saying it doesn't live. I'm not even talking about this anymore. Now I'm just going off on a fucking rant in general.
Oh, go ahead.
In horror movie groups and in regular movie groups, it didn't live up to the hype. It was overhyped. How does any group of people, any amount of people saying they liked or dislike a movie change your opinion of that movie? I don't understand that. I don't get it as a concept, and it may just be because of the way my brain works. Most of the time, I'm a very logic-based person, so sometimes I have a hard time understanding concepts that other people do. But I just, like, if you tell me it's a good movie, I don't, like, there's a lot of people I have that if someone tells me it's a good movie, there's a few people in my life that they tell me it's a good movie and I should watch it, I will watch it regardless of what I think about it. But I don't form an opinion before I've seen it based on that. Like, if a bunch of people say a movie is great, I will watch it to form my own opinion, but I won't watch it with an expectation that it's the most amazing movie I've ever seen. Everybody is different. Movies are subjective. There's no way that I can allow somebody else's opinion or feelings on a movie to affect my viewing experience past the point of me saying maybe I should watch this movie because X amount of people said it was good.
Yeah, I feel like because let's be correct, there is a difference between being misled by a trailer, which has been a problem recently, and we won't get into that because whether the trailer is misleading to you or not is a different story, but it has been something we have dealt with recently, like with the big example being
It Comes at Night.
It Comes at Night, and how it was misleading. But here's the thing: I feel like hipster might be a new term, but the biggest thing people give hipsters shit for with being like anti-mainstream has been something that's always happened. There's always been a group of people who like just cannot like something because it's a mainstream thing. Oh, I can't like this because everyone loves it, so I can't be into it. I have to be against the grain. I have to be against the norm for this, just for the sake of it.
Damn millennials.
Yeah.
But like I'm saying,
Fucking
this has
kids.
happened well before millennials. This is something that's always been there, and it's not damn millennials at that point. It's damn rebels without applause who think it's cool that they don't like things and they're like, oh, that movie wasn't worth the hype. Or like with people who didn't like the 2017 It. Oh, it didn't live up to the hype. It didn't live up to the hype. That's your fucking fault, not the movie's fault. You set your expectations super high based off of other people's feelings than your own. You either should have not watched anything or listened to anything, which would have been fucking basically impossible. Or you should have been like, okay, they really like it. I don't know if I'm going to really like it.
So
But tame yourself down. Like, for instance, Kenneth was not as big of a fan of the 2017 It movie. And it didn't have to do with hype. It had to do with his love of the source material.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, I mean, and what I was going into with that is that at the end of the day, after I watched the movie, if after I watched the movie, I say that I don't think it deserved the hype that it got, is that kind of flowing into the same thing?
I think,
or is that different?
yes. Well, no, I think it is the same thing. It's just now, like, because it's basically the same thing. Saying it didn't live up to the hype or it didn't deserve that hype.
Yeah,
To me, it's the same thing, except it's more level-headed because you're just like, I just don't. I think people are hyping it up too much. I don't think it was as good as everyone say it is. I think it's a more level approach to it, as compared to
when I got done with that movie. That's pretty much exactly what I said. Where I was just like, I just don't understand why people went all gaga over it. I mean, it was a typical, it was pretty typical. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's me leaving alone the how far-fetched it got away from the source material at moments. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, that's exactly the way I felt about it. I was just like, I don't understand. It wasn't that I don't think that movie deserved it, really. It was that I don't understand why people did that. So it kind of could be construed to the same thing, but I don't know.
And for me, I did. I think it lived up to the hype that everyone brought it to. I thought it hit exactly where I wanted to hit, and I had some few problems with the movie, but I still felt like it lived up to the hype. And that's the thing. I think. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, not you, Kenneth. This isn't specifically about you, but I feel like people use I don't understand the hype or it didn't live up to the hype as a way of slyly trying to put down the movie, because to me there's a difference of saying that than saying I just didn't like the movie. Like, it's cool I don't care what movies you like or dislike. You don't have to have the same taste as me. It doesn't change my experience because you hated the movie. But saying it didn't live up to the hype is just a ruder way of saying I didn't like the movie.
Without giving a reason why.
Right.
It's your reason why is there was too much hype. And it's like, okay, so the reason why is that you let other people's opinions set your bar high. That's your own fault. That's not the movie's fault. Like, if you don't like the movie and you have reasons why you think it's a bad movie, bad dialogue or bad CGI or a fucking terrible story, plot holes, or it's just not what you're into because, like, you're a white supremacist, but you still watch Get Out for some fucking reason. Like,
oh God,
of course you didn't
tweets.
like the fucking movie.
Oh man.
I can't say that
the thing
I'm
that
not
bothers
guilty.
me the most of what, being a white supremacist?
No.
Right.
Get Out was fucking an amazing movie. No, I can't.
Fucking Jerry's Team Colin, you're a white supremacist. We're fucked. No more.
No, I said
viewers.
Kenneth was Team Colin, and he's a white supremacist.
No, what I was going to say is I can't say that I'm not guilty of in times past where the hype is what fueled me to want to go see a movie. I can't say that I'm not guilty of that, and then being disappointed afterwards. I can't say that I haven't done that before, because I have. There have been moments where it was like, and I can't give a specific, but it's a negative. So, if I'm not giving a specific, it really doesn't fucking matter, because I'm admitting that I did something fucked up. But damn, there have been moments where I've went and I've seen a movie solely based on the fact that everybody was like, oh, it's fucking amazing and blah, blah, blah. And then when I got there, I was fucking disappointed. I mean, that has happened before. I've done it.
Yeah, no, it happens to everyone. I just think, but you have to realize your responsibility in it. And the problem is a lot of people who use those phrases don't accept their personal responsibility in the incident. And that's more along the lines of what Jay is bringing up, is these people using it as a crutch to rid themselves of any wrongdoing, that they didn't do this to themselves, and they did. And that's the issue that we're bringing up. Not only that, but just like every fandom has entitled people, but if you're in like a generic horror group, you are going to see the most entitled motherfuckers possible. It doesn't matter. Or an entitled video game group, entitled Gone with the Wind fan group. It doesn't matter what the group is. You are going to see these entitled people who give out these opinions that are just fucking worthless. And these people couldn't create a fucking thing to save their life because they don't have an ounce of creativity. And so all they do is criticize shit and talk shit and complain just to fucking complain. And I see Jay, for some reason, fucking responding to these people all the time in certain horror groups. I don't ever respond. I laugh on it and I just fucking ignore it.
I can't fucking help it. I'm just like, why are you dumb? Don't be dumb.
Yeah. So
I like that. Why are you fucking stupid?
To quote Philip DeFranco, don't be stupid. So anyway, with that being said,
I hate it.
We'll have to do a whole episode on just shit we complain.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so we're going to get out of here, guys. Thank you for watching, or not watching. Well, unless you're on YouTube, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We will see you next time. Originally, this episode was supposed to be in March, and March was going to be our video game month, but this might actually come at the very end of March or the beginning of April. So it's not really going to be a month, but our next episode after this should be our recommendation for horror video games. So hopefully
that'll be a fun one for you.
You'll get some stuff for that. If you're not into video games, you might not get into it, and if you skip it, that's fine. It's kind of like our anime double feature episode. It's a hit or miss kind of thing, with us stepping a little bit further out there than normal.
We need to do another anime episode that I'm part of.
We will. Very soon we will be, for our boy Trenty Sutherland, we will be doing a anime double feature of Vampire Hunter D and Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust.
Oh yeah, always a good reason to watch more Vampire Hunter D.
Yeah. So shout out to my boy Trin, because he's fucking awesome.
Yeah, you're the OG fan, yo.
Join his group
on a queen vampire. Woo.
Yeah, join his group. Now listening, for if you want to post about podcasts you're listening to. It's fucking awesome. And check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Patreon, where we're doing all kind of bonus shit. I will have to figure out how we're going to do video commentaries in the future, because of us hosting our own thing now. It's audio only. But I've got some ideas. I'll test them out, play with them.
If you have some ideas, feel free to drop them in the comments or on our Facebook page. We're always open for suggestion.
Very true. And buy a Kill the Cast shirt. Those are fucking balling.
They are balling.
They're fucking fantastic.
I'm gonna bring one to a horror convention. I'm gonna give it to a celebrity. I'm gonna make them take a picture with me. It's like, all right, how much money to get you to wear the shirt and take a picture with me? And I'm like, look, this guy loves them. You should love them too.
Wear this, you motherfucker. So check out all that, and check out our Facebook group. Come join us. We're always talking shit in there. We're posting polls. It's a fucking super fun time. So we will see y'all soon. Here probably, like I said, this episode is either going to come out late March or early April. Other than that, y'all have a fantastic fucking time. Let's, Jay, do you have any parting words?
I want to give a shout out. The other day I posted in one of these horror groups that I wanted suggestions for content that people wanted to see on YouTube, because the easiest way to get popular on YouTube is make content people want to watch. I didn't post any links to our stuff because I wasn't trying to circumvent the no advertising rule, but a few people asked me for them, and we've kind of had a surge of new membership in the group and on the fan page. So shout out to you guys that were actually interested in checking out a horror podcast and legitimately listen to us. Thanks, guys. And ladies.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're coming over from the Married with Children podcast because you like horror movies or you just really love me, don't worry. I'm always connected with my inner Steve. Kenneth, do you have any parting words?
Kenneth?
Did you die, Kenneth?
Kenneth is dead. I miss him.
Well, that's it. Silent Hill broke Kenneth.
He's in limbo.
He's being fucked by Pyramid Head right
Wait, he's in my mirror.
now. Reese, do you have any parting words?
Get hype.
Get hype.
Get hype,
That's my new
Clegane
tattoo.
Bowl.
That's my new tattoo. I'm getting it. Get hype.
I'm all about that get hype Clegane Bowl. And as for me, thank you for joining us. Thank you for supporting us. And I can't wait to see what you people think of Silent Hill in the Facebook group. We will see y'all next time. For Kill the Cast, my name is Jerry. We love you all. And don't burn witches at the stake.
Uwe Boll fucking sucks.
What the?
There he is.
He's been
Coming out of
resurrected.
nowhere. All right. We are out of here, guys. We will see you next time on Kill the Cast.